Welcome to my channel. My name is Emmy from Emmy Evolving. If this is your first time joining me, thank you for finding me. If this is not your first time, thank you for coming back. So just getting these cards ready. Ooh, massive energy shift. This is a turning point. I just got a notification. Okay. I like that. I literally just got the notification. Oh. Ooh, this is exactly what you asked for. I'm getting notifications. Nirvana. Okay. Almost ready, guys. Almost ready. That energy, man. A lot of energy. Okay, let's get started. Here goes. Let's see. Ooh. There's something that you just need to be done with, like completely done with. Uh-oh, what is it? Let me get one more card. Ooh, okay. So there's something that you need to be completely done with, and it needs to be pushed out of your life, just pushed out and never allowed back in. I don't know what this is. I don't know who this is, if it's a person, but it needs to be pushed out and not allowed back in. I know for me, the last several months, actually the last year, it's been a lot of really just cleaning mental, emotional, and social houses for me. No more of things that I really just don't need to be a part of. And it's not necessarily bad things, but if it's bad for me, if it doesn't add to my peace, I need to walk away from it. I need to leave it alone. And that's kind of how I've been living for the past several years. But this past year, it's been something that has been very much intentional, because before, and you guys might be able to relate to this, it was a thing of life circumstance being the very tool that soul uses to clear people out, to clear circumstance out. Now you're needing to choose this. You're needing to be the one to choose who needs to be cleared, who needs to be pushed away, you know, all of these different things. I was talking to someone super important to me earlier, and I do recognize I'm an absolute enabler. I do. I do. So I'll recognize something unhealthy about a person, and then I will totally be like, but you know, they're going through something, but you know, this reason, that reason. And so now my soul has devised a way for me to have no choice but to address something very quickly, very early, and to just be done with it. Because sometimes that's what we need to do, is just be done with the cycles. So your true potential is rising, but you have to remember what that potential might mean for you. I think for many of us, we have some idea, or had some idea, of what we're supposed to be doing, where we're supposed to be, who we're supposed to be around, like the type of people. But we've really lost sight of that. We've really gotten to a point where maybe you've been convinced to settle for something. Maybe you've been convinced to settle for someone, some circumstance, some type of job, some type of something. You've been convinced by people because they tell you, like, it's not that bad. Why are you so upset? Are you someone that's consistently swallowed what your needs are? You swallow your words, you swallow everything. Whatever someone wants, that's what you do. If it doesn't align with what you want, it doesn't matter. You'll be fine, and you'll just carry on. Because if that's the type of person you are, and now you're having a hard time continuing that, where people get away with whatever they want to say, whatever they want to do, there's a reason. There's a reason. It means you've taken too much. You've allowed too much, and it's time to no longer allow. So, in order for you to manifest, you're going to need to stop doing that. You're going to need to remember all the times that you've disregarded your needs, because remember, this card, remembrance, right? You're going to need to remember all the times that you've disregarded your needs, you've disregarded what you needed to say just to keep the peace. If you have to continuously compromise yourself, if you have to continuously ignore what it is you need, what it is you want, that's not peace. That's some manufactured sedation. You're sedating your actual needs. You are silencing your voice. If your potential is rising, these types of blockages need to be cleared out. If they're not cleared out, your potential has nowhere to go. It's going to further compact. It's going to become a blockage itself. I think a lot of the blockages that you guys are having to deal with now are potentials, cycles where potentials were allowed to rise, but there was nowhere for it to go. So it became compacted, impacted, and then it's a full-blown blockage. Full-blown blockage. And maybe, because some might be like, well, if it's my potential, I want it. Okay, well, maybe you're so upset at betraying yourself that on a subconscious level, you layer it in shadow to hide it from you. A lot of people do that. A lot of people actually do that. They hide from themselves the things that they've done or they've allowed because it's so upsetting. You don't have to be ashamed and you don't have to be angry with yourself, but you do have to be honest. You have to be honest about what you have allowed, why you allowed it, and what you'd like from it at this point. That's the only way to get through this. Honesty with self. True, genuine authenticity. Oh, what? Hold on. Hold on, sorry. So I was working on content for my classes, and there was chatter with Soul about tissue intelligence. Okay, let me just see real quick. Mindfulness, somatic awareness, energetic coherence, restored harmony. These are instructions from Soul. Mindfulness, embodied peace, right? What is your soul wanting you to do? It wants you to develop somatic awareness. Okay. Okay. Thank you, Soul. I'm just going to leave that alone. I'm going to leave that alone. Okay. So, security. You are very safe in your existence. This feeling of lack of safety comes from your fear of actually succeeding, your fear of transcending, rising above and moving beyond, right? Rising above and moving beyond. What if part of the reason why your abundance won't come in, your potential won't, is never fully realized, fully manifested, is because you're so afraid of succeeding. Like, what happens after I succeed? Your life continues. Just like what happens after you fail, your life continues. You just continue. You keep going. So you've succeeded. Okay. What's the big deal? I once knew someone. Well, I thought I knew this person. I once had this individual that was in my life, and there was a project that I got sucked into. I got sucked into this project. And when we did the project, there was a beautiful response to it. And then because of that beautiful response, it wasn't like some major thing, but it was just a beautiful response. It was received well. And so they thought like, oh my God, this is it. I'm going to now be a celebrity. Okay. Whatever. You know what happened with that? They didn't know how to handle a momentary feeling of success. And so they crashed out on me. On me. No, seriously, literally. I'm totally serious. And so I stepped away. Because I stepped away, what happened? Not a damn thing happened for them. Not a damn thing happened for them. Where are they now? No clue. Don't care to find out either. No clue. This whole concept of, oh, now they're a celebrity. And no, that was just one moment. That was just one moment of being received by a wider audience. It's one moment. It doesn't mean anything. Now, when you continuously have those singular moment after singular moment after singular moment of success, that's the point where you need to begin realizing this is my new normal. This is my new normal. So I just got to keep going. This is the new norm. It's not anything that I need to be afraid of, intimidated by. I don't need to start moving different, because what a lot of people don't realize, part of the reason you got to where you got when you experienced that moment of success was because of the way you moved before you got there. Once you're there, you start moving different. It becomes a different path. It becomes a different path. Your potentiality is rising. If you want this potential to actually come to true fruition, you have to follow through. You have to keep going. You have to keep going. You have to. There's no question about it. You have to. So, if you're going to be passionate about something, make sure your passion, whether it's a positive or a negative experience, is properly utilized. What's the difference between a destructive fire and a fire that sustains life? Nothing but the way you use it. That's it. That's the difference. The way that that fire is used. The way the fire is contained, the way the fire is allowed to kind of just spread wildly with zero guidance or direction, all of that. All of that. So, time for you to have a rebirth. And this rebirth has nothing to do with becoming a different person, a different version of yourself. It has everything to do with you now able to see yourself differently, because the way you see yourself is how you limit what you experience. Oh, there was a video. No risk, no Rari. Sorry. Anyways, this video, I sent it to our family chat. Hold on. Because what she said was so... Science shows that belief in yourself is a bigger predictor of success than talent and intelligence. And I'll tell you the neuroscience behind why, because everybody should know this. Belief alone improves performance. Studies show that when you believe you can do something, your brain activates more motor cortex and prefrontal resources, improving your performance. So when you believe you're going to fail before you even try, you will absolutely fail. Is that what you want? Be honest with yourself. Because sometimes we enter into that mindset and cling to that mindset because that's our comfort zone. And you don't want exit out of your comfort zone. You don't want to exit. Oh, my upper lip is starting to sweat. Okay. Why don't you want to exit out of that? Is it because the people in your environment haven't given you permission to succeed? You know what I say about that? I don't give a fuck. I don't care what you want. You don't want me to succeed, then look the other way. Just like you look the other way when I was laid bare on the floor, bleeding and crying. Look the other way. It's very simple. The people who don't want to give you permission to succeed, if they're the same people who don't come to help you when you need it the most, what, because you didn't beg them the right way? They're the last people you need to be concerned about. That's when you need to match that energy and care at the same level of superficiality that they do. Yep. I 100% believe that. Why? Because if I don't allow myself to believe that, if I don't give myself permission to take that stance, I'm a fucking enabler. I will make excuses for you. I will. That's how I am. That's how I am because I want to love everybody. I want to just believe in the best of you, like the ugly parts of you. It's like, okay, that, yes, that exists, but that's not you. No, you are who you present yourself to be. You are who you present yourself to be. That might not be you on the inside, but if that's what you're showing me, that is who you are. At least to me, that is who you are. I will believe whatever you show me. If you show me that you are someone who is super nice because you want something from me, because I'll detect that. I can feel that. Then I'll believe that as well. Will you get what you want? Probably not. Probably not. Because I'm honest with myself about how I am and who I am. I'm very honest with myself. I know that for many things, I can't say no. Why? Because I just don't want to disappoint people. I'm not a doormat though. Because I haven't developed the level of emotional maturity to be able to be like, no, thank you. I mean, I can do that here and there now, but I do still somewhat struggle with it. Guess what? I hired a board, an independent board. It has multiple people and they base decision with zero emotion, zero attachment, and I just accept whatever they say. Why? Well, because I'd probably cry. If I had to be like, "Hey, you," no, I'd probably cry. I would. It'd take me quite a bit of time to get past that, like, I hurt your feelings. But again, don't get me wrong, if you're gonna be really nasty with me and I can tell that your intention is to hurt me, oh, I can absolutely be cut and dry. It's the manipulative ones. It's hard for me. It's hard. It's hard. Why? Well, if you guys think about it, demonic things have been watching you for a very long time. Do you need to be afraid? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But they have been watching you. Why? Because they want to gobble you up? No, 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 no. They want to know how to best approach you because they don't want to expend any more energy than is needed to access you. So they will observe for a prolonged period sometimes. The really smart ones, they'll watch and wait for quite a bit of time. And they'll see where your energy surges. They'll see the emotions you feel. Because many empaths were people pleasers. We had to soothe our environment as children. We had to be the peacekeepers. That's not a program you just get rid of. That will continue to exist inside you. But what you do with that program is where your power is. If you allow that program to run you, it's not going to be good. There will be people who will absolutely exploit that. And I've experienced this over the course of multiple years. When it comes to strangers, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I've had multiple years of experience of that. If you recognize that that's one of the most beautiful parts of you, but it needs to be partitioned and reserved strictly for the pure-hearted. And people are going to say like, oh my God, you're so judgmental. To those people, shut your fucking pie hole. Why? Because you have no idea who the people I'm speaking to, how they have suffered because of people like you. And I'm at a point, I don't give a shit if I offend you, if I piss you off. I don't care. I thought you said you were a people pleaser. And I also said it's also partitioned at this point for only the pure of heart. I will not give myself like that to just anyone anymore. I'm not ashamed and I will not apologize. Absolutely not. So if you are a giver, if you are a lover, you don't have to not be. But you can't give that to just everyone. When you begin giving that to just everyone, and then, all of these other things and disappointments, and then you start attacking yourself. You start assuming that you're the problem. You should have just gave more. You should have just this. You should have just that. When you exist in that mindset where the distortions are continually amplified because of those types of interactions, guess what? That's the very thing that creates the blockages that doesn't allow your potential to rise. If you're a mountain climber, why are you forcing yourself to continue existing at sea level? Is there anything wrong with sea level? No. But is that what you're made for? Is that what helps you to feel like you love yourself, like you're doing what you're here to do? I know for me, part of my potential is allowing myself to love people in the way that I'm designed to, but also in using my discernment to figure out who gets how much love and attention from me. There's nothing wicked or evil about it. There's nothing selfish about it. It's very healthy. It's very, very, very healthy. Yeah. I will always be a giver to everyone, to a certain degree. Yeah. Yes. Just like I give my time, my energy, I give of myself in these free live streams. There's nothing wrong with that. That's not me being a doormat again. But just because you want something from me and you privately message me, or even better, sometimes when people want something from me because they're so accustomed to getting their way in the most manipulative way, they'll go ahead and ask me while I'm live because people are watching. She can't say no. Yes, the fuck I can. And yes, the fuck I will. Are you serious? You think I will say yes to something that disrespects my sovereignty and existence because you think I'll be embarrassed? I'm fucking shameless. Are you kidding me? You must not know me very well. Yeah. When you exist with that type of just freedom to be yourself, that's when you begin to invoke. That's when you begin to call in the very circumstance, the very people, the very energies that will facilitate the rise of your potential. You deserve whatever is partitioned for you, whatever has been allotted to you by your soul, by creator, however you want to phrase it. You deserve that. That's yours. That's not something you have to earn. Oh, we have to stop with that. Like, hold on. I need to kind of just, revert back to old coping mechanism because I'm really getting pissed off. I'm getting really pissed off. This mindset that you have to earn a dignified existence. No, you don't. The people who refuse to allow you to exist in a dignified manner are shitty people. Cut them out of your life. No, or not. I would, but it's up to you. Habibi, I'm not friendly. I'm not friendly, Habibi. Sorry, guys. You're probably like, Habibi? Who's Habibi? Habibi trying to be online friends. No, thank you. I'm not friendly. Okay. You need balance in your life. Balance, balance, balance. How do you get balance? Well, if your goal is simply to be balanced, you're going to be preoccupied and absolutely depleted. Why? Because if you make it a point to focus strictly on balance, you're going to have to put so much focus on balancing. That's going to be very tiring. So what's the solution? It's very simple. Find your space of center. Once you find that space of center, by virtue of your centeredness, the byproduct is balance. No effort. No effort. Think of it as when you first started learning how to ride a bike. A lot of effort, a lot of focus. You were wiggly and yeah. And it was hard. It was scary. It was hard. A lot of focus, a lot of fear. And then when it finally clicked, I mean, you could do some crazy stuff riding a bike. You could do some pretty crazy stuff riding a bike. I remember one time I was still a kid, and one of my older siblings borrowed their friend's bike. And it was kind of like a BMX type bike. I still remember it was chrome. The frame was chrome and the handlebars were black. That's how traumatized I was. And I was just doing some crazy stuff on that bike because my BMX had it had the handbrakes, which I never used, but it also had, like, when you pedal backwards, it'll lock the wheel, the back wheel. So I use that as brakes. And I was going really fast. I went down the street as fast as I could and I whipped it around. It came back, went up my driveway and went back down. I was going really fast. And then it was to where I was going so fast, I thought I was going to lose control. And I tried to backpedal and it was a freewheel. Shit just spun backwards. First, it hit my calf real hard. And then it just kept spinning. I was like, oh, there's no brakes. Oh, shit. Yeah, and I was a kid. And I remember hopping up onto the sidewalk, going real fast partially up someone's driveway. And I turned at the last minute and I was going down the sidewalk of my neighborhood. And it was literally, the wheel was perched ever so precariously on the edge. And it was like, and I was like, oh my God, I'm going to crash and burn. And here's the thing though. I was like, I'm either going to be in control of this or I'm going to be seriously hurt. I was wearing flip-flops and shorts with my little Poochie doll. Do you guys remember Poochie? Poochie was this, like, I think it was like a white poodle with pink ears. I don't know what the hell it was, but it was Poochie. Or did I name it Poochie? I don't know. I had Poochie with me. And I was like, I'm going to destroy Poochie if I fall. So my decisions were to either remain in control, find a way to decelerate. And this is how my brain worked even as a child. Find a way to decelerate. Going up a ramp causes you to slightly decelerate. And if I can swing the back, it will force me. It will shift that forward momentum into a lateral swing because I'm a fucking weird kid. So I lived on a U street. It's a U. There's houses in the center and it's a U. And as I began to turn on the U part, there's a neighbor's driveway. I just have to hop off the sidewalk, which I did. And that little bump slowed me down ever so slightly. And then I went up their driveway and I swung it. I put my leg down and the back swung around and it stopped. I didn't crash at all. I got a bruise on my calf when the pedal hit my whatchamacallit, my calf, but nothing else. I didn't fall. Why is this important to know? Well, because every single circumstance you're facing right now, it requires you to make some critical decisions for how you're going to experience it. And if what you believe is that you need to be injured in order to finish this experience, you probably will. You probably will. See, as a kid, I used to get in trouble if I get like bruises or cuts or scrapes. So I was very much a tomboy. And they were trying to force, my parents were trying to force me to be very girly, and I just wasn't. So I would get in trouble if I scraped my knee or anything like that. I would get in trouble. And I was like, hell no, I'm not going to get hurt and in trouble too. So I took charge even as a child. I must have been, I don't know, maybe 9 or 10 years old. I must have been 9 or 10 years old. If you take charge of what's happening and give yourself permission to get through that cycle, that experience, without being or experiencing harm, injury, you don't have to. But you do have to do what your soul is requiring is done. So this shadow is possibly someone outside of you, because like he's staring at you. Like there's some dude in that mirror and he's staring at you. I don't know what that means. I don't care to find out. I think there's someone or something watching you. And if you face it and show no fear, you just carry on. That's how I've lived every portion of my life. Oh, so people want to bully you. People wanted this. People wanted that. People want to give you a hard time. Okay, whatever. I don't care. I just carry on. But Emmy, they can't do that. But they're trying to. So what are you going to do about it? Feed into it? Give it your fuel, your sacred fuel that should be used strictly for your rise? What's the point of that? What's the point of that? Wherever you're going to allow your energy to go towards, that's what you're going to fuel. And your energy goes towards wherever you're the most fixated on. I want my potential to fully rise. I want my potential to introduce itself to me in the very near future. I want it. I want it. I want it. I want it. What do you want though? What's your potential? I don't know. I'm serious. I don't know. I just know that I want it now. Like right now, no, that now I'm open to it coming home, and I'm not just open, I'm asking for it to return back to me. What are you calling back to you? I don't know, but I know it's good. I know it's good. How do you know it's good? Well, if all I do is good for other people and I literally don't screw people over. There are people who exist who think I screw them over. That's because they couldn't continue to have access to me and exploit me and use me. Okay. So if I know without a shadow of a doubt that all I do is good for other people, then all that's set aside for me is goodness. I don't do good for myself, but I do good for other people. That means I've been putting all of that goodness that's for me in a little spiritual bank, a little spiritual piggy bank. And now it's time to break that little ceramic pig open. Oh, am I putting my fears in that little piggy bank? No. Am I putting what? Oh, my karmic load because I screw everyone over. I'm such a demon. I'm such a scammer. Yeah, no. Everything about me is very open, very cut and dry. Everything about me. So what else is there? What else is there for my soul to give me? The goodness that I've refused to receive because at some point in my life, I allowed someone outside of me to convince me I deserve far less than what I actually do. Ain't that some shit? Who was it? Who convinced you? Who convinced you you're not worth it and you don't deserve? Was it a parent? Was it a sibling? Was it a friend? Was it a cousin, auntie, uncle? Was it a grandparent? Who was it for you? Who was it for you? Because they shouldn't continue to have this type of control over you. And I would not be surprised if the person who convinced you that you deserve far less than what you actually deserve, I wouldn't be surprised if they're a very toxic, nasty person. And you just didn't know any better because you're someone who loves people regardless of how they treat you. Is that true for you? Is that how it is for you? Be honest with yourself. That's not how it is for me ever since I was a child. If you are nasty to me, I won't like you. If I feel like you're being mean to me, and it would need to be something very obvious, you're trying to dominate me, control me, I won't like you. And I won't pretend that I do. That's how I am. I used to get in trouble a lot for that. I did. I used to get in trouble a lot. Say hi. I don't want to. Say hi. I don't want to. Why don't you want to say hi? You're being rude. I don't like them. Why don't you like them? I don't know. Just don't like them. See, I was convinced by my environment that I'm a bad person because I don't play those games. Luckily for me, ever since I was little, I don't give a shit. You will not force me to do anything. Mm-mm. No, I didn't break rules. I was very, very militant about rules, regulations, and all of that. As a matter of fact, I didn't sneak out. You know, all these teenagers that sneak out. I don't know if you guys still sneak out. You just don't care and you walk out. I never snuck out. I didn't sneak out till I was like 18, hiding in the bush. 18. Yeah. And that was only because it was kind of this unspoken thing where if I go out, when I come home, if I go out in the morning, afternoon, it don't matter. When I come home, I have to stay home because I already went out for the day. Crazy as shit, isn't it? And my bestie at the time, she wasn't going to get off work for like another hour or so. So I was like, what am I going to do? Where am I going to go? Yeah. So I was 18 and I hid in the bushes across the street from my house, waiting for her to pick me up. Why? So no one would know that I was home so I could go out. But yeah, you're not going to force me to do anything that doesn't resonate with me. And before I used to be ashamed. Now it's like, hey, why are you trying to force me anyways? That's weird. That's very weird. Why are you trying to force me? Why don't you just ask me? Oh, because you know that if you ask me, I'll say no. Oh, so you don't even care how I feel or what I need, what I want. So I don't care about yours either. I'm not going to cooperate. You get in trouble for saying that out loud in public because you have to play by the game. You have to disregard and disrespect yourself in order to prove you're a good person. Yeah, I did that for most of my life for strangers. Yeah, I did that. That's even documented on Facebook. Several years worth, thousands of hours of videos where I'm doing that. Did any of my potential come forward because I did that? No, it created more blockages. And the more people I allowed to have access to me who had questionable, if not full-blown malignant intentions towards me, the more of them I allowed to access me, to convince them that I'm a good person. They were never going to believe I'm a good person, no matter how much I gave. They were only interested in how much they could take. Is everyone like that? Absolutely not. Well, why do you make it sound like everyone you were around was like that? Because that's what I allowed around me. I was afraid of success. Does this sound like you? And you can go through the things that I went through. It was ugly. I'll tell you right now, it was ugly. It was destructive. Or you can simply hear what I'm saying and begin to think of how you've experienced things unnecessarily. And after you do that, I want you to then begin to recalibrate the way you see yourself. Are you really the bad person that you've convinced yourself you are? Because when you do that, you don't give permission for your potential to continue rising and to be manifested in full manifest form. So what are you waiting for? That's all you have to do. It's a very simple thing. Very, very simple thing. But what? Well, you're afraid of your fire. You're afraid you're gonna burn people? You mean the people who are trying to extinguish your flame? You know what happens when you play with fire? You get burned. Is that your fault as a fire? No, it's their fault for trying to fuck with you. I see things very clear now. The people that got burned trying to stomp me out, that's on you. I didn't ask you to stick your whole damn foot in my fire. Like I'm supposed to feel bad that you tried to stomp me out and you failed and got yourself burned. That's not my fault. And some people might be like, oh my God, that's such narcissistic mindset. No, it's the reality. Society has empaths programmed so deeply to protect the people that are doing you harm, the people who are exploiting your kindness. I won't do that. I call shit out as I see it. Does that mean I'm right? It means I'm honest. And if that's how I honestly see it, that's how it will come out of my mouth. Have I been wrong before? Yes, but it's rare. It's rare. It's rare. Having had so many experiences of people using me and treating me poorly after they can no longer use me, like starting shit and talking shit. I remember one time, many, many years ago, I had a personal assistant, and it was a thing of soul told me like our paths are diverging. There was no issue between us personally, right? She wasn't mad at me, I wasn't mad at her. But it was this thing of the longer I allow her to remain working for me, she's disregarding her own path. I can't do that. I can't do that. So I let her know, like, hey, you know, this is what's been brought to my attention by my soul. And I completely understand if you're going to be angry with me, I have to let you go. I can't be the one to stand in the way of what you need to accomplish for yourself. And I waited for her to hate me. Because in my mind, it's like, yep, they always do after. And that's when I was the most wrongest I've ever been. Why? Because to this day, she's still my friend. Never talk shit about me. I even told her, like, I completely get it if, you know, you vent to people and you hate me. I get it. Like, this is your livelihood. And, you know, the best part, once our paths diverged like that, and I mustered up the courage to have that difficult conversation, you know what happened? She was able to find a job that paid her even more, and she's excelled in that position. Harmony was reestablished in her life. I was wrong. She never hated me. Not then when it happened, not now. We're still friends. I haven't talked to her in a long while, but we're still friends. It's okay for you to be honest about the ways in which you don't see clearly who's genuine with you and who's not. It's okay. You can pause and take a look and be like, okay, this was not what I thought it was. I mean, I've had friendships like that as well. Or for a long while, I thought it was a mutual, very loving friendship. In reality, no, it wasn't. And then I had to be honest with myself with that. When I let that situation go, guess what? I had more space for potential to rise. That one person that I thought was my friend, but really wasn't. There were 2 other people who came into my life who I know are genuine in their love for me. I won't ever miss that old person. Why? I assume they were just a placeholder for the truth of what I really need in my friendships. I don't have very many friends. And the friends I do have, they're my family. Yeah. When you lose your fear of letting go of the very things that keep you weighed down, when you let that go, you begin to rise And it's funny, I look back at that friendship that I told you guys ended. Why did that end? Well, their insecurity got the best of them. What do I mean by that? We're working on a project, and this other person was brought in to do a different aspect of the project, and they got intimidated by the other person. They got intimidated. Had nothing to do with the other person. It was them. It was them. And then when they saw the opportunity to bail, they did, thinking that I would beg them to what? Use me some more? I would have never walked away. Mm-hmm. Once I bond with you to a certain degree, it takes you fucking shit up beyond repair, going full foobar. They went full foobar. I was like, okay, bye. That's fine. That's fine. What's fine? That you're allowing me to see the reality that we have never actually been friends. I fell for it. That's okay. You were the placeholder. And now that you're out of the way, the true connections can come in. Mm-hmm. You might not realize it at the time, the things that are being cleared out of your life. You might not realize at the time that your soul is doing you a favor, because for many empaths, you've developed such a depth of loyalty to people who've never earned your loyalty. They never earned your loyalty, and yet you're loyal to them. Through everything, you stick with them. Why? I don't know why. If you want this potential to rise, you have to thaw out. Oh, hold on. What is that song? It was by Sia, I think. Oh, it's Freeze You Out. Okay. No, I want the lyrics. Lyrics. Okay. You know I've been hurt before. Yeah, you know the score. And I know you want more. You want me to thaw out. But you know I get ice cold. I get cold when you don't go slow. But I know you want more. You need me to thaw out. You'll thaw out when you begin loving yourself. Loving yourself with the same, hi, Emily, loving yourself with the same intensity that you love the people who never earned that depth of love. Everyone deserves some degree of love. Everyone deserves some degree of respect as a minimum level of existence. Everyone deserves that. It does not need to be earned. But the moment they begin to continuously show you they're not worthy of that type of effort, you need to begin believing that and seeing that, because it's a waste of your time, your energy, and it blocks your potential from rising. Solitariness and desert, but it's in reverse. Ooh, I think for some of you, your soul family is coming through. They're coming forward. You got to clear out all the fake stuff, or else there's going to be no seats left and no space for your soul family. You need to. So, okay. There was a connection. I've known this person since I was a child, like really young child. We grew up together. We spent so much time together. We were super close for a long period. And then life kind of happens. Kind of just happens. And even though life happened and clearly we were no longer aligned, we still held to each other. And then the years go by and more of life stuff happens. And it's kind of like becoming ridiculously obvious that I'm really not welcome in their life. I'm autistic, so I can't read social cues. It has to be super obvious for me to be able to realize. I'm like, no, I don't think so. Yeah, it has to be super obvious or I won't know. And then What happened? Well, as adults, more things happened. And it's like we've known each other for our whole lives. How can I walk away? Well, when my existence irritates you and offends you, when your perception of my success is like a dagger to your heart, I'm walking away. I'm walking away. When your partner violates my body and I don't see you have a big ass fucking fit about it in my defense, yeah, you're fucking trash. It's time for the garbage man to pick up the trash. I'll only allow people to treat me so poorly. And just because I've known you my whole life, doesn't mean shit to me anymore. It doesn't. Because I've had people who've only known me for a short period, maybe 1, 2, 3 years. That's not a long time. And they've been family to me. Those people I will cherish. Because I can use them? No. Because they're my chosen family. If I held on to the things that I would be obligated to hold on to by society, by relatives, by programs, I would have no space to gain the clarity that I need to understand what I actually deserve. Your potential is what you deserve, yet it hasn't been allowed to come home to you. Why? Because of the people who won't give you permission to allow it in. You know what was the defining moment when I realized I had to walk away from that long-term connection? When I was on a phone call with them. And I said, hey guys, I gotta get going. I have to get to work. And they're like, oh yeah, go do your little YouTube thing. I mean, it's not a big thing, but why would you say that? And then proceed to tell jokes. Tell jokes at my expense, zero provocation. Jokes that are intended to cause me to think that what I'm doing and the time I spend with all of you is inconsequential, that my existence doesn't matter. I could do that shit by myself. I can. I can talk shit to myself by myself. I don't need to have people in my life that are so comfortable with my enablement of their toxicity that they would say this to my face. It's okay. I don't need people to see me as a big deal. But I can never allow someone who is comfortable trying to convince me that I'm nothing. I can never allow them to stay in my space. It's just too much. It's too much. That was the final straw. That was the final straw. It's not that I deserve more. It's that, why am I settling for so much less? Because when you say you deserve more, what does that even really mean? I'm not friendly, OG. What does it really mean when you say you deserve more? It's almost like a roundabout way of saying you recognize you're not really living the life you're supposed to live, right? But it doesn't really say anything. It's become such a cliche statement. I deserve more. More what? I don't know. Just more than this. Well, what's wrong with this? Well, I mean, I don't know. But when you frame it as a question of why am I settling for so much less, you then are empowering yourself to seek out the root causation of why you are behaving the way you are towards yourself. I promise you, the way you treat yourself, you would never do that to someone else. And that was like a huge aha moment for me. when I realized the way that I treat myself, the way that I force myself to continue to endure and go without, I would never ask that of anyone else. Like, are you kidding me? And I would be livid if I ever witnessed someone asking another person to do that to themselves. Yet I ever so willingly do it to me. Why? Why am I settling for so much less than what I know I've earned, the bare minimum of what I have earned? Like, damn. Marinate on that. I realized my passion was upside down. When your passion is upside down, you begin to not only make excuses for the maltreatment that people so generously give you, you don't just welcome it, you seek it out, and then you blame yourself that it happened, rather than simply recognizing and observing from a neutral space of observation. Oh, this is another symptom of what I experience inside me. Excuse me. This is another symptom of it. And I don't know, it just popped in my head. One time someone was like, "Oh, you have so many tells. You're like you keep touching your face, you keep moving your hands and touching your hair and stuff." Okay, this is not a performance. Whenever I speak, it's not a performance. I'm naturally a fidgety person. So I'm not going to try and modify myself so I can perform better. When my oldest was a toddler, he must have been like 2 years old. He is exceptionally intelligent. He started reading, like full on reading at 17 months. And so one of my aunts was like, "Oh, make him read this for me, make him read that for me," because she was so amused by it. She loved it. And he wouldn't read in front of her. And she's like trying to force him. And at 2 years old, he says to her, "I'm not an animal, I don't perform." I was like, oh shit. And she's a Lola. So in my culture, that's like, hey, whoa. You don't talk to a Lola like that. But it's true. He's not an animal. He doesn't perform. Neither do I. And maybe that comes into mind because the way you move through your life to create space to allow this potential that's rising to get home to you, to arrive at your doorstep. Someone is telling you to move in a different way, to navigate differently. Why do you listen to those people? Like, you can feel the instruction from soul. You can feel it. And maybe the reason you're not receiving the instruction, you're not living in accordance with that instruction, is because you've ceased to allow yourself to feel. That's not good. You need to be able to feel. You need to. It's very, very important. And you need to bring it back home to you in this life, home, earth. You need to give yourself the love that you so generously give to others. And it's not about hating others. It's not about no longer showing other people love. It's about making sure that first and foremost, you receive what you need from yourself. And whatever is left over, you can give away to whoever you want. Whatever is left over. What's an example of that? Doesn't make sense, Emmy. What do you mean? What do you even mean? Okay, I'll give you my life example. I was stuck homeless in a parking lot, living in a broken RV. I was living at Walmart. Yes, I was living at Walmart, and I was earning quite a bit. You know, my sessions, my private sessions and expedites. Yeah, I would, every time I would do expedites, I would need to put a cap at how many can be purchased because it would always sell out and I'd be live for about 8 hours straight. 8 hours straight. I would have to put a cap, I think at like 20 of each type of expedite. And if you guys have seen the list of expedite, that's a shit ton of expedites. So I would be doing all of that for about 8 hours straight, person after person after person. I would do that once or twice a week. On top of selling selenite swords, I would make somewhere between 15 to 20 swords every night. I would do an auction once a week. Each sword would sell for maybe $200-300. Sometimes more, depending on the intricacy of the sword. Sometimes it'd sell for $600-700. Sounds like a lot of money, doesn't it? It was a lot of money. You know what I did with that? I gave it all away and kept $500 for me and my family to survive for an entire month, and kept myself fucking homeless in a parking lot in a broken RV. No generator, no refrigerator, no stove, no water, no nothing. Am I angry at the people who I gave these things to? No, most of them did need help. They did. I'm angry at myself sometimes, not all the time, sometimes, because it's like, dang, girl, you didn't have to do all that. You could have fixed the brakes. what was going through your head? Yes, Kraken, absolutely. That's what I did. That's what I did. Yeah. And then I was liable for the tax, the tax liability from that amount of income. And I had nothing because I was still homeless in the parking lot. I had to learn the hard way. And the only reason I learned the hard way was because I made it hard for myself. Why did I make it hard for myself? I wasn't trying to be a good person. That's what I thought when it was happening. I was being a good person. No, I found a legitimate way to punish myself. I look back now and I realize that's what I was doing. I was punishing myself. For what? For existing. You wouldn't just punish yourself for existing. Oh, yes, empaths do. You'll be hard pressed to find an empath who doesn't find ways, very covert ways, to create hardship for themselves. They will give to others knowing they have a need for the very thing they're giving away. It's okay. I can wait. It's okay. I'll get another one later on. We've highly intellectualized the ways in which we punish ourselves. So now that you know you do this, are you mad at yourself? Because you don't need to be. You just need to be aware of the actual root of your behavior. And when you do that, you can then allow more of your abundance to rise, because that clears away more of that blockage, more of that gunk that you've allowed to accumulate. Because why? Because if it's not there, you'll shine uncontrollably. Damn. Yeah. It's like, I'll give you an analogy. You know, when you make bacon and you let that frying pan cool down and you get all that fat in the pan, that's grease, right? It's like, it's straight up lard, except it's not clarified lard. It has burnt bits in it. And so it's like this brownish, yucky color. Yeah, you take that and you smear it on all your windows in your house. Real thick layer. No one can see in, but you also can't see out. And then you wonder why life, because you never leave your house, you wonder why life feels just so dark and dreary. Even on a sunny day, it's just so dark and dreary. This is all life is. No, that's not how all life is. You messed up your windows because you were afraid of your shine. So what's the answer to allowing your abundance in? Trusting that your soul knows what you deserve and that your soul will never give you more than what you've actually earned and deserve. Knowing that you're not a bad person and you're still on a journey to figure out what that means. knowing that you probably will not figure out your actual worth until the moment before your last breath. But you still have an obligation to exist. You still have an obligation to be a shining light. For who? For your fans? I don't have fans. I have community. Community. Oh, so you're our leader, Emmy? No. I'm not that either. What are you saying? I'm saying we're all kind of just walking and exploring. What's so wrong with that? Just being. Knowing that as I am simply being, there will be things I will accomplish, things I will experience, things that will not only brighten my perception of myself, that one aha moment will give just enough light for whoever it was who felt lost and needed to find their path back to themselves. I'm not a savior. Yes, I'm formidable, but I'm not a savior. I will always respect whatever your journey is. I can't guide you when I know I have no idea what you're supposed to do. I can simply facilitate whatever your soul asks me to share with you, whatever your soul requests, I assist in correcting, repairing, rejuvenating. That's all I can do. And I'm perfectly satisfied with that. I had this aha moment in the shower this morning. It was an absolute aha moment. Okay. So I go and I get like chiropractic adjustments, I get acupuncture, I go to the gym. Those are really the only places I go. I go grocery shopping, not always, sometimes. So I'm primarily just at home. And it was this thing of, if I was such a big deal, how come I live such a normal life? These people that I interact with at the places that I go, I've made offers. There was this one person, she's a manager of the gym that I go to, and I've made offers. Like, if you need anything, let me know. Also, I was going to have my body worker work on her completely for free. And she kind of said no. She's never taken me up on any offers for any type of like clarity, energy work, anything like that. And it's like confirmation I am a regular person. I'm not in denial. Just because I'm aware that I'm a regular person does not negate the intensity of my capacity. And I love that. Why? Because it's confirmation that I'm not just hating on myself. I'm not shrinking myself. People's perception of me online is because they see me doing my work online. At the end of the day, I'm still just a person. And just because I'm just the person doesn't mean I have no value. It doesn't mean that at all. It means everything is balanced in my life. I can do my work and know that my work is important and powerful and life-altering, but also know that I'm not elevated among others. I don't need to be. I'm just a regular person. And being just a regular person, I still deserve what I have earned. Maybe there's still a few little nuggets blocking the way for my abundance. But I think the majority of what's prevented me from receiving what is rightfully mine, I think it's been cleared. It's not to say that there won't be a few layers placed on top here and there, but I think for the most part, it's been pretty much cleared. So does that mean I'm going to suddenly be like this cajillionaire? What is that? Cajillionaire. I don't know. A cajillionaire. I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think I need that right now. Right now, I'm still working on me and seeing myself even more clearly. Maybe down the road, when I've reached a level of maturity where I'm ready to feed and house thousands, if not millions of people simultaneously, I will absolutely need the cajillionaire status then. Right now, not so much. I have everything I need right now. Everything I need with just a tiny bit of wiggle room so that I can take a day or two just laying and breathing and reconnecting with me. That's a beautiful existence. That is abundance. Yeah. And it's not to say that I can spend a day or two laying on the couch just breathing because I'm rich. I won't be able to get a few things because I didn't work those days. But that's okay. Those are things that can wait. This moment where I'm laying here breathing, that's where I need to be. That's where the riches are. That connection with self, that moment to repair whatever distortions and disarray that has arisen because of interactions with others, because of disappointment, because of whatever it is that you've been through in the last few days. Sometimes you need that. Maybe even just an hour. Maybe even just an hour. You have to begin listening to what you need so you can receive what you need in that moment. I should still be at the gym right now. Yet I've been live for over an hour. Why? Because I didn't go. Why? Because my body said not today. Not today. So I said, okay. Well, what will I do? Whatever my body gives me permission to do. What does that mean? We will see. This is about cleansing. As you cleanse, you begin to become much more aware of what you actually need from life, from circumstance, from soul, from the people in your environment. You'll begin to become very, very clear on that. And the people who continue to be extremely averse to respecting your needs, respecting your process, facilitating the amplification of your peace, you need to get very, very clear on their place in your life. Very, very, very clear. Okay. Those are the ones that seek to block your flow. And you might be like, why would they block my flow? Not to sabotage you, but to get you to sabotage yourself. Self-sabotage. Self-sabotage. When has betraying yourself paid off? You won your case. Congratulations to you. Congratulations to you. Congratulations. Congratulations. Congratulations to you. Congratulations, Lisa. Self-acceptance is what you need to do. Sometimes in order to accept yourself, guess what? You need to do some shadow work. What does shadow work mean? It means what? You thought I was going to give you the answer? Shadow work means you need to enter into the spaces of you that you have rejected. Like what parts? Well, I used to be ashamed that I got a mouth on me. Yeah. But see, I only use my mouth in ways that were not the most empowering for me. I would wait until the person had done so much that I couldn't communicate in a neutral manner my needs, my feelings, and whatnot. I would wait until I was yelling because I'm good at yelling, verbally assaulting. Hi, Z. Turns out My mouth is actually very powerful. See, the reason I say I wasn't using it in the most empowering way is because I would only share my anger. I wouldn't share my views. I wouldn't share my aha moments. I wouldn't share the gravity of my life experience. Because guess what? I couldn't value myself, so I didn't think any of that had any value. Turns out it's one of the most valuable things about me. I'm not afraid to share. Not just the money that I earn, but I'm not afraid to share what I've learned through my life, through the hard circumstance. Because guess what? I'm not interested in appearing perfect. I'm not interested in appearing nice and sweet, although I have the capacity to be nice. And I'm actually a sweet person. That's not all that I am. When you only play one part of who you actually are and you hide the rest, it emboldens predatory people. I was speaking to family about this the other day. When they see you only be nice, and I have this logic, the people who are the nicest all the time, the kindest, the softest, they're the ones you don't want to piss off. Why? Those are the people who have never allowed themselves to release the anger and the rage. You don't want to be the receiving end of like 10 years of rage. You don't. You don't. I used to never tell anyone anything. Just, be the kind person that overgives and always super present, but never shares anything about me. And had all that rage built up. It was built up for many, many, many years. And then all it takes is one person to poke me in the right way, and then it's unleashed. And it's not this thing of I'm telling you that and I'm embarrassed. No, it's this thing of, damn, that was so much fuel. If I had used that for my growth instead, like, girl, it's the equivalent of getting a full tank of gas and parking your NSX in your driveway and just revving the shit out of it for hours on end until all the gas is used up. Like, are you fucking kidding me? You could have drove around with that. Why would you do that? Why would you do it? Because you're angry? You want to piss off your neighbor? Which, by the way, I dislike my neighbor. I'm just putting that out there. I dislike them. You might be like, why? Because they're a fucking liar and I call them out on their lie. So now they're pissed. Get in line, bitches. Yeah, no, they're liars. Anyways, okay, so once I began allowing myself to really process and share, which is, you guys see my soul forcing me into some of these live streams, right? Don't laugh, Mr. Sword of Wisdom. I was telling my husband when we leave, because we leave in I was like, when we leave, because I know they have a camera in front of their house, and I'm not going to deface anyone's property. That's a big no-no. But I was like, what if me and two of my homegirls, we dressed in all black, absolute emo goth, right? Dark eyeliner, and just stood in front of his house on the sidewalk, not his property, on the sidewalk with black candles in front of us and our arms just up like this, just swaying in the wind, facing his house. I'm just saying, visualize that. Visualize that. I mean, how do you think that would end? Would they realize it was a joke? Because it's just a joke. It would just be a joke. So even if he wasn't home, it would be recorded on his camera. Just like, don't say anything, don't do anything, don't go on his property, don't leave any mess, nothing. Just three of us in full-length dresses that are black and just swaying in the wind with our eyes closed. Yeah. That would be fun. Anyways, abundance. Let your abundance come in. Don't let the things that are designed to drain you actually drain you. Don't let that. I know. I was like, what if his bitch ass posts it somewhere? Then they're gonna be like, oh my God, that's Emmy. I was like, I could totally wear a mask or something. Maybe I should put a prosthetic nose, prosthetic chin. I mean, we could do something. I have lots of wigs. I just don't wear them. I mean, we could be creative. Direction. You're supposed to just go in whatever direction your soul sends you. Don't worry about not knowing in advance what direction you're headed. I think you have some idea. Especially those of us who begin to feel very, very irritated, like, but that's not where I want to go. So then that means, you're going in a specific direction and it just happens to not be aligned with what you want, right? You guys won't snitch. I have a fan club full of people who hate me. I bet one of those bitches will. I'm pretty sure one of those bitches will. Mm-hmm. I'll be like, oh, we know who that is. I told you guys Emmy was evil. Yeah, because I'm standing there on the sidewalk doing nothing but swaying in the wind. I probably won't do it. And I'll tell you why. Because I told you guys I'm transparent. I probably won't do it because when I go to do it, my husband's going to be like, what the fuck are you doing? Get in the car. We have to leave. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm sure of it. He's going to be like, don't do that. You're going to scare them. That's the whole point. They're going to think you curse them. Exactly. But did I? No, I did not. I just stood there. All right. So the final card, Metamorphosis. Your abundance only comes in when you allow yourself to shift. The blockage is serving as a chrysalis that's keeping you confined. See this? You see this feather? That's a peacock feather. Why is that important? Because peacocks are fabulous. They are the embodiment of fabulosity. They're also very aggressive. I don't know if you guys know that. I remember when we went to, I think it's like the Kyoto temple or something like that in Oahu. It's like this, I think it's a Buddhist temple and cemetery. There were wild peacocks just let loose on the property, and there were signs everywhere. The peacocks are aggressive. Do not touch. Yeah. It's okay for you to know when and to utilize your voice, when to speak up and to utilize that voice. It doesn't make you any less beautiful than you actually are. And people will try and convince you that you finding your power in your throat, speaking your needs, speaking your boundaries, enforcing them, that it's ugly. It's not. What's ugly is the ways in which they keep trying to convince you that you're something that you're not. You are not a whipping boy or girl. You are not a doormat. You are not any of those things. You are not disposable. It's time for you to go through the metamorphosis that will allow all of that abundance in. Abundance is more than money. Ooh, speaking of abundance, thank you, Lindsay. I have my Abundance Amplifier event happening this Sunday. Yeah, it's this Sunday. It's not going to be broadcast on any of my social media platforms. It's going to be on a private server. If you would like to be a part of it, please click on the QR code or the link in the comments for all platforms except for TikTok. For those on Tiki Tac, you simply go to the link in my bio, click on the Hubi link, and look for the Abundance Amplifier. The box office for that is going to be closing tomorrow. So, Zoom link. It's through my private server. So you should have. Are you talking about the event, Sola? Or a session? the event. So you guys should have received an email yesterday regarding the Abundance Amplifier event, and it gives you all the instructions along with the link and how to log in, because it is a locked page. It's a locked page. So email my team, contact@mevolving.com. Email us and let us know if you haven't received the link. It should have been sent to whatever email is associated with a purchase. So if you use like multiple emails, whatever, for example, if you paid with PayPal, that's probably the link or the email that we have on file. So check that email. And if it's still not there, just email us so that my husband knows to forward it to you. Okay. So it's going to be a recorded event, and you guys will be able to watch it over and over and over and over and over and over. You'll have access to it for quite some time. At the very least, we promise a month. It's usually longer than that. The last time I did an Abundance Amplifier event was in 2023, 2 years ago. 2 years ago. And I believe people had access to it up until recently when I announced that I was doing this event. So you have access for a while. The only time I take down the videos is when I need space for another event or I'm doing the event again. So, yep. All right, guys, I have to get going. I will see you guys again very, very soon. Bye, everybody. Bye, TikTok.